Good afternoon and welcome to Pittsburgh City Council's Cablecast public hearing for Monday, November 18th, 2024. We're going to have two bills today. Madam Clerk, will you please read the purpose and the title of the bills?
Bill number 2024-985, resolution providing for the designation as a historic structure under Title 11 of the Code of Ordinances, that certain site known as Pittsburgh Stained Glass Studio, located at 160 Wharton Street in the West End, 20th Ward, City of Pittsburgh. The owner of the property supports the nomination and there is no cost to the city. And Bill number 1084, resolution authorizing renaming Ream Recreation Center to Dunlap Family Center.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And we have people here from City Planning. Do you want to come forward? I'm sorry, do we do a little presentation first, right? Yep. It's been a while since I've done this. You want to do a little presentation first? Do you want to sit at the table or do you want to sit there? Wherever you're most comfortable.
Hello, my name's Sarah Quinn. I'm with the Department of City Planning, and I will keep this very brief because the clerk's office provided you with a pack of information that I will speak briefly about today. Okay. But the nomination I'm going to speak about is known as the Pittsburgh Stained Glass Studio. It's located at 160 Wharton Street, and it was nominated for historic status on April 12th, 2024. It's in the 20th Ward, and it's in the 2nd Council District. The nomination was done, there was a preliminary determination of eligibility done by the Historic Review Commission on May 1st, 2024, and the determination for the Planning Commission was done on July 9th, 2024. Let's see. The historic nomination said that the nomination is constructed to the east property line at Wharton Street. It contains a studio space on the first floor, along with stairs to the second floor where the Pittsburgh Stained Glass Studio office and showroom are located. And there's a photo of that on the front of the packet, as well as several photographs towards the back. The Pittsburgh Stained Glass Studio can trace its roots to the turn of the last century. The 1909 city directory shows the firm now operating under the name Pittsburgh Art Glass Company, even though another company of the same name had existed in the city in the 1890s. Mostly, the Pittsburgh Stained Glass Studio did church commissions within the city of Pittsburgh. In particular, they did in East Liberty the Presbyterian Church, the nave aisle windows, and Wayfarers Chapel windows. The Second Presbyterian Church in Washington, Pennsylvania, Howard, Wilbert, and Weiterschnauthausen, the First Methodist Episcopal Church in Greensburg, as well as other churches, and the international rooms of the Cathedral Learning. In 1946, after the World War II, the company was commissioned to do chapels for the Air Force Base at Langley Field in Virginia. The windows were created as a memorial to those who had given their lives and served faithfully during World War II. The symbols are notable for religious themes being interwoven with symbols of flight. Sales were up from the previous year of church windows, and construction had reached an all-time high for the firm. And the firm had won a design competition to create windows for the John F. Kennedy Memorial Chapel at the Special Warfare Center at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. At this time, there was a decline in the market, and there was a transition in the company related to existing windows. In order to increase the business, it was at that time that the company transitioned to restoration of historic windows. And it turns out the windows that the company had constructed were in need of restoration at that time. So they were able to do more work on the windows that they had already created. So that was one of the ways that they were able to keep in business for so many years, is transitioning their business to meet the market needs. And I think that's something that's very Pittsburgh related to, first sort of an industrial business, and then changing to market needs. So that's really what I have for you guys as far as the presentation goes.
I'll add some comments to it. That it's actually a really great neighborhood, and it sits behind the Old Stone Tavern, which is the second oldest commercial business in the city of Pittsburgh, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And I live in Sheridan in the West End, and
Right.
we were speaking before I came in here, and I said, it's not just, the West End that's proud of you, it's Sheridan too. It's all of us over in the West
Right.
End neighborhood that are
Right.
proud. So
Right. We're really excited to see what's happening. If you see, I don't know if you've noticed, but the Old Stone Tavern is moving along. It's been on the agenda for the past couple of weeks for different things that they're moving. So we're happy to see that finally moving. But I want to thank you for all your work that you do for
you.
the entire city of Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
and making sure that we preserve some of the most
Yeah.
precious
Thank you.
part of our history. Thank you.
Sure.
And now, after that presentation, we'll move it on for public comment. Is there anyone here? Oh, I see Matthew Falcone, who's, I'm sure I should have known.
Madam President, just wanted to thank you for the consideration for this application. It's been absolutely wonderful to work with Kurt, who's here with us today, the studio owner, and wonderful to see this nomination go through. I think that in general, when people think of Pittsburgh, they think we all worked in a steel mill, but that's not true. There are so many small business owners that had such a great impact on our city, our nation, and Pittsburgh Stained Glass Studios is an excellent example of that. Kurt has been a wonderful steward of his family's legacy. And when we talk about historic buildings and we talk about stained glass, it's always kind of integral to the building itself. It was really a treat to be able to think through all of the hundreds of thousands of windows that Kurt and his family have done, and now are in the process of restoring as well. And Pittsburgh's original industry before steel, before iron, was glass. So it's even more wonderful that we are able to call attention to this spectacular piece of Pittsburgh's history. So thank you again for your consideration.
Thank you. Thank you for all the work you do in the city, too. We'll have to invite you to the Warden Street party at the end of the year. They have a party every year, so we'll invite you. The next registered speaker is Jeff Slack. Jeff here. Hi.
Hi. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm Jeff Slack, the preparer of the nomination, and obviously I fully support landmark status. For well over a century, Pittsburgh Stained Glass Studios has made invaluable contributions to the art and craft of stained glass throughout the United States, especially in the realm of ecclesiastical windows. The studio has succeeded in large part from the exceptional quality of its windows, by placing the ancient traditions of window making above the prospect of commercial profit, from a century of valuing science and technology along with art and craft, and because of the creativity and agility of its management. From the start, the firm positioned itself before a national audience through a series of strategic marketing campaigns. The growing reputation of the studio then led to their work being selected for inclusion in buildings designed by a number of nationally known architects, including Ralph Adams Cram. However, for me, this is a quintessential Pittsburgh story, and I think others have shared that this afternoon. This is a story of art and craft combined with raw materials and industry. While national commissions were welcomed, the studio never made them a priority. They instead deliberately focused on architects of lesser note and congregations in smaller communities. This way, as Kirk Weaver's grandfather noted, they could get 10 local churches for every national one. The result is an enduring but largely unsung legacy of thousands of windows in places throughout the country that are sacred and deeply meaningful to their communities, but are places that most people have never heard of. Thank you for considering this nomination.
Thank you so much for taking the time to register to speak. We've exhausted the list of registered speakers. Is there anyone here wishing to address City Council that's not registered? No? Seeing no further speakers, Madam Clerk, do we move on to the next bill? And are there any registered speakers? There's no registered speakers. Is there anyone here wishing to talk about the Dunlap Family Center? Seeing no speakers, we're going to recess, or we'll adjourn the meeting. It's been a while since I've chaired. We'll adjourn the meeting. But I do want to say thank you all for your work on all the historic designations. Thank the clerk's office for helping us get through some of these nominations. I know you've been very busy and have a lot of things going on. You've been helpful with all the little things and the big things, so thank you. And to the Cable Bureau, always. Meeting's adjourned.